Hey everybody, welcome back once again to the hillside. Today we're on my front porch and I'm going to show you the little progress I've made with seedlings and talk about what's kind of going on here in the early spring. If you look before you, this is my front porch and yeah, it's very crowded with plants. That being said, it's middle of April. We haven't even reached our last frost date yet, so what am I doing? Well, we've had a very warm stretch. We haven't had any really frosting weather. The coldest we've gotten is about 41 to 40. And did I bring my plants in? Nope. My peppers, tomatoes, some flowers over here. Did not bring them in. Got dahlias growing from seed over here. Did not bring them in. Now, why is that something you might want to try? Well, number one, I kind of honestly think that people they baby their plants a little bit too much. You know, we want to give them too much love. We overwater them. We fertilize them way too much. Well, some people do. I won't point anybody out. You don't have to admit it if you're one of those people. But anyways, I think in nature, if you look in your flower beds, you're going to see seeds are going to pop up and they're going to grow. And you might get a late frost. You might get some snow, some icy weather. But they always find a way to pull through. Okay, if Mother Nature designed every kind of seedling and every plant that got the slightest bit of cold, you know, nothing would ever survive. We'd have plants that just would grow and get frosted and just die off, and nothing would ever survive to the spring, right? So my philosophy is when I bring my peppers and tomatoes I've grown from seed, all these are different varieties, and we'll get into that here in a minute. Yeah, as long as I have warm days, it's been in the 60s for the afternoon temperature, 41, 42 at night lately. And because they're on the porch and because the house kind of acts as a radiates, you know, a little bit of heat, and they're on the front porch is made of this brick here. So during the day, the stone or the brick, whatever, is going to warm up and it's going to, you know, radiate or emit heat for a little while through the evening. So it kind of acts as like a little microclimate. So I would never do this out in the open, out where it's exposed. But right now, the porch, you know, kind of gives them filtered sunlight. They're not getting too blasted, and they're getting protected from rain. The warmth of the house is helping them through the low 40s at night, and they're doing just fine. So if anyone tells you a tomato seedling cannot be put outside or will not even be able to survive, well, here's some proof right here for you. So this one right here is actually a mellow yellow. These are all rare heirloom tomatoes I'm growing this year, a lot of new varieties, along with some just your standard ones you may or may not have heard of before. But yeah, so I'd like to just also talk about just the variety of just things you can do. So, I mean, growing from seed is that easy. There's tons of videos. I put videos out for it. You can grow varieties you just don't get in the store. For example, let's look at this one here. Now, this one is a Brennan's Flame. Okay, there's not much information at all if you kind of Google this up, but it's an heirloom tomato. The taste on these guys, I'm sure, is 100 times better than anything you buy at the store. As we all know, grocery store tomatoes, let's just be honest, have absolutely no flavor. So growing your own heirloom vegetables in general, you can save the seeds and they'll produce, you know, true to type, and they'll grow fine. And these plants, I mean, they've been outside, they're doing just fine. This one right here, you may notice, if this ever happens to one of your plants, that is called sun scald. Get a better shot there. So this young plant probably got a little bit too much sun before it was hardened off, and that's fine. Your plants are going to grow through that. As you see, the new growth is fine. It's green. It's healthy. It's doing just all right. And this guy here is even starting to put a flower on. So yeah, I mean, this is middle of April. I got pepper seeds that are putting on flowers. Now, in a perfect world, you would go through and pinch all these little young flowers out because they're not ready to be put in the ground yet. And I may do that, I may not, but it's probably best if you do at this point to kind of pinch out the initial flower buds, just to let the plants get a little bit more established. I know a couple people asked me for some updates on dahlias. Well, these are some dahlias I've grown from seed. These things are just fine. They're just like tomatoes and peppers. You would treat them the same. They need the warmth. They're not going to handle a frost that will absolutely kill them instantly. But I mean, these are all just varieties I've saved. Some I've just purchased. But I've made some videos on growing dahlias from seed, so do check that out. You can grow your own. All these flowers are going to be unique to themselves. So there's that. So those people who told me it's not possible to grow dahlias from seed, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But here you go. A nice shot of some dahlias grown from seed. So let me swing you around, show you what's going on to the other side of the porch. All right, so checking out this right here. These are actually the results of my wild blueberries grown from seed. So I'll link my video up there, put it down in the description below. But these are actually the wild low bush blueberries collected the berries, stratified the seeds, and they're growing out now, albeit very, very slowly. I don't have expectations of eating berries off these anytime soon. I'm going to keep them protected for the first year of their life. And hopefully they're going to survive the winter, which they should. Shouldn't be a problem with that. With eventually planting them out to their final spot next year. But that does give me time to kind of prepare the seedlings and then also prepare a place for them as well. For those of you who don't have much room, on this little container here, those are some radishes. They're doing just fine. You can get a little bit of production out of a small space. You don't need a lot of area to grow food or vegetables or just have fun growing plants. So utilize every space. This is actually underneath a stand, which if you zoom up here, these are my 2 Japanese maple pre-bonsais, I guess. Grown these from seed. They're doing quite well. Leaves are coming out. Even so far right here, if you can see that right there at all, those little buds even coming out right there as well. Zooming around, these are some flower bulbs. I think this is Liatris, and this is a African queen lily, I believe. Which is story on that. The deer ate that completely to the ground, and I actually forgot about it, and it started coming back to life. So it's definitely a survivor. These are some more heirloom tomatoes over here as well. I mean, everything is just coming into season. The springtime is so amazing. My favorite time. I mean, look at this. Boom. Look at those tomatoes, how nice they look, right? I mean, so this is just my small little front porch, and look how many stuff I have growing on here, okay? Now, obviously, you're not going to grow all this to fruition. You're not going to plant everything out. This is excessive because most of this, quite honestly, is actually going to be sold at the local greenhouse. I kind of do sell these, so yeah. I mean, this is a little side project. But even if you're just going to grow, 3 or 4 little plants for yourself, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't do it. I mean, grow lights, start them inside, but they're going to be getting too big eventually. So don't be afraid to put them out when it's a little bit chillier than you may think. Some people say don't put your peppers or tomatoes outside ever until it's like 75 every day. Well, that's just inaccurate in my opinion. They're doing just fine. I mean, the stems on these guys are super, super tough. These little weak, little flimsy things you get from greenhouses, they're weak, they're pale, they're not strong. The root bases on these guys are amazing. They're strong, stocky little plants, completely hardened off. Now, if I do get one random cold snap, I might have to come, rescue them all and bring them inside, but I don't foresee that happening. But there you go. So that's just the update for today from the hillside. Just a look at all of my, this is probably honestly over 100 pepper and tomato plants growing out here just on the front porch. So from my hillside, guys, hope you guys are doing fine. Hope your growing season is off and running. Hope this update gave you a little bit of encouragement that you can, in fact, grow your own heirloom tomatoes and peppers on your front porch. It doesn't take a lot of really expensive equipment other than maybe some grow lights early in the season just to get that head start and that jump. But there you go. And I'll leave it right there. So thanks for watching, guys. Please, if this inspired you in any way, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Be happy to hear what you have to say and see what you're growing this year in your gardens. So until next time, guys, you guys all be good, and I'll see you around. All right, bye-bye.